Hey everybody, it's Brian Dean, also known as the Doc Rev Dean at DRREVDEAN on Twitter. And tonight's UDL chat, we're talking about spring cleaning and we're talking about new beginnings. So if you're brand new to UDL or you're experienced in UDL or you're somewhere in between, please stop by UDL chat, hashtag UDL chat on Twitter tonight, 9 p.m. To 9:30. I'll be moderating. But we're gonna have a great time, and we're gonna have a bunch of people there. So in the idea of multiple representation, I want to create a quick little face shot of me talking about the questions tonight. So let's get down to those questions. Number one, as with any spring cleaning project, the first question is, why do I need to do it? And quite honestly, the same holds true with UDL. We're trying to figure out, why do we need UDL in schools? And what are the outcomes of UDL? And those outcomes could be for students, could be for teachers, could be for administrators, could be for pre-service teachers, researchers, all up the line, higher ed, whatever you may have, please come and answer the question. Number two, the next step is determining what room you start with. Do you start with the bathroom? Do you start with your bedroom? Do you start by taking down all the curtains? Do you start with steam cleaning the carpets? What do you start with when you're doing your first deep cleaning of spring? Well, same with UDL. Where do you start with implementing UDL? What do you target first? Do you target student engagement? Do you target accessibility? Do you target learning barriers? Where do you go? Number three, spring cleaning is about deep cleaning, but how do you know when the room is really clean? How do you know that you've really put in the work, right? Besides the sweat on your brow and the ache in your elbow, how do you know? And that's the same question for UDL. How do we know? Is there anybody have any go-to ways that we determine when you are implementing deep UDL, really deep UDL? And what are the look for? What are you looking for? Is it just student product? Is it student product and deliberate design? Where do you go with it? And then our final question for the night, number four, we all have our go-to tools for cleaning, right? Your favorite mop, your Windex, okay, that may be a stretch, right? But are there any go-to resources or people for UDL? And what would you want to see if you could design a tool that could do it all? What would you want to see in that tool being created? What would it look like? Would it look like like those Swiffer commercials where a person opens up the front door and they're like, oh my gosh, there's so many Swiffer tools for me to use? Or is it something like there's one special tool with some kind of Dr. Seussian name that we could create? And what would it have in it? So those are our questions tonight. If you scroll further down on the S'more page, what you'll see further down is who to follow in the UDL verse. We've compiled some names and some hashtags there. Please check them out. And then even further down, you'll see a link to our archives in Storify for all these UDL questions. Stay tuned. We'll have another chat on the third week of April, because we do it every first and third week of the month around UDL chat. And in that one, we're looking for some input from you folks. If you don't see your name or you don't see a resource or a person that is an absolute follow in Twitter, please add them in the comments of the S'more, and then we'll be able to compile that a little bit better. All right, so this is Brian Dean. I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to 9:30. It's chock full of UDL goodness. You're not going to get it anywhere else. It's the best half hour on Twitter. We'll talk to you later.